Hello, nuts and nerds, and welcome back to a Squirrel Play. Today we're going to be talking about writing and why you can already do it better than AI. That's right, not how you can do it better than AI, because you already do. We'll be looking at why what you write is already better and why you might not want to lean on AI, even for editing purposes. And I had this big, long story written out to explain why it took me so long to get this video out, but I decided that was super boring, so instead, we're just gonna... Alright, so why are we here?
It's one of life's great mysteries, isn't it?
Are we really having that AI discussion? Hasn't that been done to death? And the answer is yes, it has been done to death. Unfortunately, every video I've seen about AI is essentially just somebody whining and crying into the camera and not really providing much of an argument or discussion against it, because it usually just boils down to, I don't like it, it has no soul, whatever that means, and you should buy my stuff instead. Not to mention there's just a lot of incorrect information out there floating around on the use of AI and how many resources it does or does not consume.
1 million
gallons.
Things we can't prove, things we make up, things we just speculate, whatever. And at the same time, there have been actual studies done showing some concerning impact it's having on people. So what we're gonna do is just ignore all of that. No moral discussion, nothing about resources, ethicalness, none of that. Let's just pretend for the moment that AI is in an okay spot. People aren't getting replaced by it, it's not turning the world inside out and turning us into slug people, and it's not making my hair fall out. Let's just say it's a tool and it's available to you. And let's take it one step further and say, not only is it a tool that's available to you, but it's a tool that the general public doesn't have a problem with you using. The controversy does not exist. And then I'm going to say, when it comes to writing, you're still better off not using it. See, I've gotten a handful of projects sent to me this year. Some folks who actually watch my videos, some folks who just pretended to watch my videos, and some just trying to get the words out on their games. And when I see a lot of AI influence in their work, I generally take the time out of my day to explain the same thing to each of them. And that is, if I show their work to my community that I've built, we will both be eaten alive. They will burn you, the creator of what you just sent me, at the stake for using AI so much, and then they'll roast me for promoting it. And real talk, that vehement behavior doesn't really do anybody any good. You can hate AI all you want or support it, but that whole sink the entire ship attitude does way more damage than good. Even though some of these projects I received had an entire bahoogle of AI influence on them, there was still some original talent, creativity, and work, actually a whole lot of work on some of them, in other areas the authors were more confident in. But when you pull your torches out and say, AI bad, blah, 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 and burn the entire thing to the ground, you tend to miss those parts. And since I'm the wannabe writer in this group, I am going to focus on the writing part. In all these projects I received and the people I talked to as to why I wouldn't review them, I started to notice a through line of behavior. An attempt not to oust somebody out specifically, I will say that each and every one of them said something along the following. I don't consider myself a writer at all. I'm terrible at writing. I needed a different voice for my writing. I used it as an editor because my writing style is illegible. I have trouble focusing, so it helps keep me on track. In other words, a whole lot of I can't write because reasons, which is just nonsense. In the context of ttrpg specifically, and at the risk of insulting writers everywhere, myself included, if you can write a text message or an email, I have news for you. You can write. Are you the next Shakespeare? Probably not, but you're not trying to be either, nor do you need to be. If all you did was write true rules with zero personality and the most boring monotone way possible, that would still be a better alternative to AI. And why is AI writing so bad exactly? Well, all right. So I keep saying you write better than AI, but what makes the AI writing so bad? Well, I'm glad I wrote this in a way that pretended you actually asked me. Now, some of you have probably heard of some of these spot the AI writing tricks before, but I'll buzz over them real quick before getting to the more egregious sin AI writing commits. I'm sure most of us here know about the M dashes, right? AI absolutely loves them. Doesn't make the M dash bad. I know people who use them regularly, and that's okay. Granted, those same people have since had to stop using the M dash because they were getting accused of using AI, but the M dash itself is not a problem. It's just something AI likes to do all the time. Another thing AI likes to do is make lists of 3. Honestly, just lists in general, but more often than not, it's in a group of 3. Here's an example from something I received. A world held together with imagination, blood, and the hope some fool hasn't kicked the wrong generator, sun split, ash choked, and crawling, with everything evolution got wrong on purpose, power, old tech, stuff so ancient, nobody remembers how it works. No one agrees on who fell, what fell, or if the world was ever standing straight in the first place. You get the idea, and it just keeps doing it over and over and over again. You've probably also heard about it's not just X, it's Y. For example, it's not just about liking and sharing the video. It's about subscribing and building a community.
Hey, that's my job. Damn you, AI.
Though I will say, I feel like the mid to higher tier AIs have kind of stopped doing that so much, but you definitely still see it, especially when people are spamming content. Like this absolute genius of a woman on LinkedIn who used AI to write a post complaining about how people use AI to write nonsense content posts. Right there at the top, it's not coming for writers, it's coming for filler. Y'all, big shout out to Glee for finding this one because I don't have what it takes to look at LinkedIn without an entire bottle of rum in my system. But in a similar vein, and something that doesn't stand out quite so bad, is that AI loves to drop an attempt to be dramatic after a paragraph or two, which usually ends up with it's not X, it's Y, a question with its own vague answer, or just a random statement for fluff. Looking at this brain dead post again as an example, you can see that right here. But that wasn't writing, that was typing. Ooh, Lord have mercy, the irony of this post, I swear. Paragraph, then again. AI made the easy 80% free, which means the hard 20% M dashes is now the entire job. Last sentence is the absolute cherry on top of this dumpster fire. I'm sorry, guys. I've seen this post so many times now, and I can't believe it's real. Now, jokes aside, I did have this perfect example of this dramatic line after every 2 to 3 paragraphs in another ttrpg, but the individual has since gone on to rewrite that himself. So showing it off here feels a little rude, but also hats off to that guy. That said, though, we are coming up on the bigger reason I wanted to show and what I don't see people talking about when they start crying about how bad AI is, but is ironically what this dum-dum on LinkedIn was trying to make AI say. No ttrpg for this example. Oh, no. We're going corporate for this one, and it's not LinkedIn. We're going to use Dairy Queen as an example. This actually came up on a stream a while back, so some of you might remember me talking about this. In order to spice things up a little bit, I will be performing a dramatic reading of their description for their cotton candy blizzard. Here we go. Go for a spin with a summertime favorite. The DQ Cotton Candy Blizzard treat is back, and it's pure magic in a cup. Enjoy whimsical cotton candy sprinkles swirled into our world-famous DQ soft serve. M- for dramatic effect. It's like a bite of carefree summer days at the fair. Each spoonful bursts with sugary sweetness, whisking you away with every bite. Perfect for anyone with a serious sweet tooth. This treat is a blend of fun, flavor, and good memories all in one. This isn't just a dessert, M- for dramatic effect. It's the best way to share a little joy, and even sweeter when enjoyed with friends and family. Whether you're treating the kids, catching up with an old friend, or simply looking to brighten someone's day, this colorful treat is sure to bring smiles all around. But here's the twist. M- for dramatic effect. This dreamy dessert won't be here forever. Don't just daydream about the sweet summer treat. M-, oh my goodness. Taste it. Order now on the DQ app or visit your nearest Dairy Queen restaurant and make the cotton candy blizzard treat your next irresistible indulgence. Oh, hurry before it's gone. Now, if you read that, and if I were to ask you what is in that blizzard, what it tastes like, or, anything that might help you decide whether or not you want to buy that one or a different one, what could you tell me?
Nothing at all.
Okay, that's not entirely true, but it's pretty darn close. I mostly just wanted to use that clip. Though it does technically tell us that this thing has cotton candy sprinkles, but that's about it. No idea if they're hard or they're soft, chewy, crunchy, or whatever. And in all fairness, we are also told that it's a limited time treat, but we have no idea how long. And if you're thinking just for the summer, well, I really wouldn't blame you, but I can confirm that it has been there longer than that. This is, in my little squirrely opinion, one of the 2 big reasons why you should avoid using AI for your writing. It's very, very, very good at writing a whole bunch of nothing. And yes, there are people out there who write entire novels like that. That's nothing new. AI had to learn it from somewhere, right? Also, I have a tendency to go on big long rants and never make a point, but that's not important. Now, I did say one of 2 big reasons, right? So what's the other one? Well, we looked at a supposedly dark and gritty writing for a ttrpg setting over here, a LinkedIn lunatic over here, and over here we had a fun, whimsical bit for an ice cream treat. Despite being very different things, they're written the same, and therefore they read the same, meaning they ultimately sound the same. When people write, they typically have their own tone or their own voice, right? Some writers can shake it up and make it sound like it was written by somebody entirely different, but generally, we all have our own style and tone. AI is no different in the sense it has its own tone and style. We just saw it in action. Problem is, all the AIs sound the same for the most part, and if multiple people are using AI, then we see that same tone over and over and over and over again. Be it a DQ ad read or the introduction to a gritty post-apocalyptic ttrpg, it sounds the same. In other words, everything loses its flavor, pun fully intended for the DQ part. Now, reality check. Most people outside of our own little creative spheres aren't going to know what AI writing looks like or how to sniff it out. It's going to go right past them for the most part. They won't be able to point out what's wrong with it until they watch a video like this or something else. But what they will do is subconsciously pick up the patterns and start to grow bored. It will no longer interest them. And when you're trying to get eyes on your writing, again, be it ttrpg or an ad read for a blizzard, that is probably the worst thing that can happen. So in a world of AI writing, even if your writing was as bad as you make it out to be, it would at least be different and break the pattern. And if it's different, it's going to catch somebody's attention, for better or for worse. All right, so we talked about how AI drops the ball, but where do you go from here? What about using it as an editor to help you clean up what you actually wrote yourself? Well, if you let it reword anything for you or give you suggestions on what to write, you will end up in the exact same boat as if you had let it write it for you. Can it do things like help with grammar, formatting, punctuation, and more rules-based copy editing, things like that? I will say that you're going to be better off hiring a real editor. Real as in they actually do their dang job. But I will also freely admit I don't have the words to articulate a very good argument as to why. Yes, it makes mistakes. Yes, it hallucinates. Yes, it's really bad at failing to keep the entire context of your work into consideration. And yes, it would absolutely 100% fail at something custom like Flowers for Algernon, where large portions of the book were intentionally written poorly and incorrectly. But at the same time, a lot of you know the experiences I've had with some editors in the past, so it's not like you won't run into similar problems with humans too. Plus, I have seen articles out there written by humans explaining how to do things that are just flat out wrong, as in factually, provably, and sometimes dangerously wrong. We've all seen grammatical errors in human-edited books too. People make mistakes, big surprise. And I know a common excuse at this point is, I don't have the money to hire an editor. Totally understandable. But look, I got news for you guys. If you're trying to publish something, it is going to cost money. That's just the way it goes. You can't escape it. You can't get around it. And if you're thinking, what if I get picked up by a publisher? Well, you're still paying. The only difference is you're paying a whole lot less up front, and then the publisher is taking it after the fact. And just to throw this out there without getting too far off topic here, you actually lose a lot more money when you go through a publisher, but that is an entirely different conversation. Now, if you're just making something for playtesting purposes or to play around with friends, well then of course you don't need to hire a full-fledged editor. Let those mistakes ride. I assure you, people will point them out for you free of charge, whether you want them to or not. But if your goal is to publish something on a professional level, be it novel, ttrpg, adventure module, or whatever, it is going to cost you. A lot of people out there, myself included when I first got into it, think that self-publishing means free, and yeah, technically it is. But getting to that step of clicking the actual publish button is far from it. And to wrap all this up, because I'm starting to tangent here, I'm going to give you a pro squirrel tip. Whenever you try to cut a corner on something, that corner is coming out of somebody's hide. And when you're a one-man team trying not to spend any money and do everything yourself, guess whose hide is on the chopping block? That's right, you and your projects. Your project is going to suffer in quality, and you're going to lose a lot of your own time trying to do everything yourself. So keep that in mind next time you're trying to save a few bucks, either by using AI or finding some other cheap alternative. How much are you really saving at the end of the day? A few bucks, but for what? What is it costing your project in terms of quality? Or a delivery window? Who knows? Something is going to suffer. And again, that is not all just to say, ooh, AI bad. There's good and bad places for it. Unfortunately, it does find itself in a lot of places it doesn't need to be because people have invested way too much money into it and are trying desperately to get their money back by putting it in everything. But again, that's a whole other conversation and honestly has nothing to do with what we're talking about. This whole video has been me trying to tell you to take the leap and do your own writing because I know you can do it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, your writing is already better than what AI will generate for you, and I hope I've clearly explained why. You, dear viewer, have a voice. You have a tone. You have your own custom collection of words you've built over years of simply being alive. So use them, because you are, quite literally, the only one that can. And with all that said, let's do the shout out and get out of here. Today's shout out goes to GM Ben, or GM Bot as he's called now for some reason. He's been running a lot of games for folks lately, but he's also recently stepped up to mod status in the server. Because, you know, I need help keeping all you hooligans in line over there, like herding squirrels or something. All right, now go write something. Squirrel out!